I'm reviewing for you today the Logitech G19 keyboard. The G19 is the successor to the G15 series of keyboards. They are intended for a gaming audience. That's the target audience or buyers of the product. And the big improvement over the G19 versus the G15 is the LCD display. Before with the G15 it was a black and white, and now with the G19 it is in color. Okay, here's a closer picture for you. The LCD of the keyboard. Like I said, the big advancement is this one's in color compared to the 15 that was in black and white. What you're looking at now is a third-party program I installed for it. It shows a line graph for each processor core that you have, date, time. This one's from Logitech. It's a, I guess you could say, a gauge system. It does basically the same thing, but shows you only, as it's happening. Bottom bar is for memory usage. This one shows it over time. As you can see, it's crawling along across the screen there. You do have keys for controlling the screen itself. You have the menu key, which if the actual app supported a menu, that would bring it, a little menu up on the screen, and you could use the arrow keys to actually go through and configure it. The back arrow usually will take you out of a menu or go down a step in it, but in some applications like the bar graph program there, it actually changes to a zoom in of your desktop. The other program here, or icon, it's for switching applications, so you can press it and it'll switch right from application to application. Hold in a little bit, you get a list of all the programs you have running on the monitor. If I move it over to something else, you can see where my cursor's at and what's on there. The screen resolution on this is actually incredibly good. It's very crisp. The only problem I've had with this LCD so far is finding applications for it. There's very few out there. Most of them are pretty much redundant and do the same thing. CPU graphs, performance monitors. When you get into some of the games that actually do have support for this, the program isn't really too useful. It'll show you things that are already on your main screen, such as your health, ammo count, things of that sort. And when I'm playing a first-person shooter, the last thing I'm going to do is take my eyes off the screen and look down here. You can actually go through and use old G15 programs on it, but there's just not many of them. The list of games that support this, there's probably about, I'd say 20 that are actually listed on Logitech's website, and most of them require a patch before it'll even work. Some of the patches are hard to come by. For example, Unreal Tournament 2004. Yeah, Unreal Tournament 2004 has support for this, and I installed a patch, and what they do, it looks pretty bad. Let me get that running up here for you so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the Unreal Tournament 2004 screen. You'll hear the demo screen going in the background there. Let me do an instant action here. I'm not going to actually try and play it. Deathmatch. Yeah, play it, whatever. As you see, it will go back and forth between your applications to show you what all is actually going on with it. And then once your game starts up and is making use of it, your screen will kind of stick to what you're doing. There's a setting in here which you can control how it rotates between the programs, to automatic, to manual. I like automatic. It's more useful to me. It actually gives me more information. As you go along, you'll your ammo count there, whatnot, does update. It does appear to be a slight delay in how that ammo count updates. I would say it's probably like a half second, something like that. It's very, very small. But I have noticed at times I can look down and see the ammo count actually update after I've already picked up something. So it might not even be half a second, could be even less. Well, that's how most of the screens in these applications look like. They actually do support it. There is one for Doom, this open source implementation of Doom, which includes support for the G19 and 19 series of keyboards. Basically, it looks the same as this. It gives you an ammo count, health, yada yada yada. Not too impressive on that. Other features of this keyboard, you actually have the option to turn your backlight of your keyboard off and on. The side effect, though, is if you turn it off, your screen goes off. So you have to decide if you want your screen and backlight or none at all. Another very awesome feature of this is you can change the color of your backlight to anything you want. I've actually set up a little macro for this to demonstrate for you. I'm trying to remember which key I set it to. I think it was this. There we go. Let me get the lights out so you can see this much, much better. This is probably going to be the best shot of it changing as I can get for you. You can change it to any color that you can pick out of your Windows color palette. Literally thousands, millions of possibilities. You're probably not going to get a good capture of this here with my camera here. It actually shows up much brighter on my camera than it really is. Right now it's kind of like a pinkish blue color, and it's going through at randomly just picking colors through a little script I've made. And it applies to the entire keyboard. You got your macro keys. You can assign those to anything you want. You also have a series of keys up at the top here for changing the macro set. One thing I kind of didn't like is you have the keys here form, but they don't actually light up. What I would like to have seen is kind of like a default color, so to say, form, and then whichever one is active turns that amber color if you have your backlight on. But unfortunately it doesn't do that. Right now it's supposed to be purple, but it looks blue on my camera. Number pad lights up, media keys light up, function keys, all that. Another feature of this keyboard is you have a button here. Again, this one for some reason is not backlit, but it's the memory record option. You can actually press that, put in whatever keyboard combination you want, keys, press them as you want, it's macro record, and then press the corresponding macro key that you want to assign it to, and it saves it. No need to open up any special software or anything like that to do that. Although I would recommend actually opening up the software and using it. It's easier in my opinion. Another special key on this keyboard is the slider. You can actually slide this over and then it lights up, and it's supposed to be a joystick on there. I don't know if you can see that. And what that does is if you go through and you're playing and you're hitting keys down here by control, all that, and you hit your Windows key, your start menu doesn't activate. But you go through and have this off and you hit your Windows key, it works. The response to the keyboard, it feels like an average keyboard to me as far as responsiveness. The media keys here you can actually link up with other programs, iTunes, Winamp, Windows Media Player, etc., etc. So while you're in game, your LCD here can actually display what song you're currently playing, where it's at, and you can use the keys here to actually jump to the next song, stop it, pause it, etc. Standard mute, unmute button. And a big feature for me is some kind of volume control wheel or knob. I don't know why this isn't a more common feature in keyboards. You know, having a knob you can actually turn, or a wheel you can actually roll through. But I hate having to go through and press the button, go up and down real quick for my audio, when I can just simply do that and cut my audio down a huge amount. Another thing you'll notice is on the LCD, as you adjust the volume, it shows you on your LCD that the volume is going up and down.